Hi everyone, Dr. Victoria Scarborough here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. Today is the 26th of December. It's a Saturday here. And I'm going to take a look at the bombing in Nashville that occurred, I think was it Christmas or Christmas Eve? I want to say this, that I have not watched any news on this purposely for two reasons. One, I just wanted Christmas Eve and Christmas to sort of be news free. And we spent the time together, me and Michael and my mother, cooking, decorating, celebrating, eating, hanging out together, listening to music. Just very quietly, just very quietly. And so I didn't listen to anything. The only thing I know is that there was a bomb. Well, there was an explosion, and it was an RV. They're not sure anybody was in it. There was some, I guess, information coming from the RV before it blew up. That's why the police were there, warning people and having people leave the area. I think that's. But now again, this is just, I don't really know that much about it. So if any of that is incorrect, I apologize. I think that's about all I know about it. But I kind of want, before I looked and to see what was really happening, I wanted to see what the cards had to say. And so this is the first thing I want to look at with this. And I'm using my old Witch's Tarot deck, one of the oldest ones I have. Very well loved and very well used. So let's see. Okay, so we have, this is the Five of Pentacles. This is about change. This is about loss. This is about desperation. This is based on somebody who feels like they're between a rock and a hard place. That there's a futility to their actions. So this, I think, is somebody who was not financially well off, whoever was responsible for this. It's interesting that if they weren't financially well off, that they would blow something up that perhaps they lived in. I don't know if this person was killed, if they were around when this blew up, if this was sort of like a suicide bombing kind of thing, or was this just to make a point. But let's continue. What's crossing that? Wisdom. So this looks like it was the act of a desperate person who did not have the internal fortitude to look for a different solution to the problem. Let's see what's at the root. It was a show of strength. This was thought to be a well thought out uh, act of showing how strong something was. However, with the Hermit crossing it, it seems like there was a lack of wisdom here, but certainly a show of strength in this person's mind. Let's see what's in the past. We have happiness. This is a celebration card. This is a wedding card. So there was a sense of happiness. This also, the Eight of Cups is always sort of associated with a nostalgia and, looking back and seeing things in a much rosier setting than probably actually was. So this is somebody who perhaps thought that things in the past were better than things are now. And what's in the sky? This is the is it the Three of Cups? The Three of Cups. So this is somebody who has connections with other people. There are other people connected to this individual, people who think like him or feel like him. So and I keep saying him because I mean, I don't know anything for sure, except that this sounds like a man's plan. So I say he. But he does have a circle of people that support him, um, and think like him and agree upon these things with him. Let's see what's in the immediate future. The Ten of Swords. So destruction. I think this is his personal destruction. Again, I don't know if he passed in it, if anybody was in the RV. Um, but this is definitely a end to whoever this person is, to their actions. This is an end for them. How this is seen from outside. More coming. People are thinking that there may be more coming of this, and that may be possible. I personally thought that this very well could be something that happens in different cities, sort of like a solidarity, or it could even be, they say, hey, that's a great idea, let's do it too. But this is not the only one I think we're going to see. So be aware, be careful when you go out and you see these things, follow your instincts, that kind of stuff. Domestic situation, we have the Empress. Um, This isn't the first reading I did. I did another reading using a different set of cards that I wasn't really resonating with how to read them. What's interesting is that these cards came up, especially in the domestic situation, the Empress came up. And so this says to me that this is what's being sort of reminded here is to focus on the family, focus on loved ones. This is like, I almost want to say charity begins at home, peace begins at home, love begins at home, consideration and compassion begins at home. Um, Perhaps this is requesting us to shore up um, our sense of home. Hopes and fears. Yeah, more coming. Of course, that's a fear, I think. Let's see the outcome. The Judgment card. So something is being revealed. People are waking up. This is a wake-up call. Yeah, so this is a wake-up call. We're being asked to I think with Biden's win, there's a certain sense of like, whew, we dodged a bullet here. But there's still things that need to be rooted out. There are still people that will express themselves. Um, so we are waking up to a level of discontent that is hasn't gone away, and I'm not sure anybody really thinks it has gone away. Um, so I think that we need to be um, this person felt like they were defending something, defending the weak, or somehow defending something. But their actions are um, they will pay for the actions that they have taken, but we need to not be unaware of the level of desperation that this created in a person and in a groups of people that would strike out like this, would take this kind of action, and a need for healing of that. So it really is about a healing that is needed at this time, and that might be the realization or the the judgment. So what I would say from these readings is that this was done by somebody who was probably a Trump voter, um, in a group, connected to others, that felt as though they had no recourse but to blow things up. To blow things up. That's what it looks like to me. Let's see. Let me pull if I can find it here. Yeah, I found it. It's right here. Just give me a second. I want to pull an oracle card on this. I'm going to do the shaman. Hold on. The mystical shaman, if I can get it out from back here. Oh, God. I have it like so well. Come on, man. I had it so well organized back there, I couldn't pull it out. Goodness gracious. All right, let's see here. Let's pick some Mystical Shaman Oracle cards on this. Let's see if we can get a little bit more insight into what I've already seen in the other cards. This is reading on the explosion in Nashville. Yeah, I think that this was done by I'm gonna say like a lone wolf, but it's not it's a lone wolf, but it's there's a connection to people who feel just like him. So this is not this could happen again for sure if we don't come to try to understand this. What is that from the same? It is more important to understand than to be understood. So ultimately a lot of this what we're seeing and what we're experiencing is an expression of the wounds that people have that haven't been, looked at. And one of the problems, I think, is that politics has been so ensconced in things like lobbying and, the people with the money making all the policy because of the lobbying of senators and congresspeople. That, of course, the regular people don't get their voices heard, and their lives are suffer for it. And and savvy politicians or savvy hucksters kind of realize that they can use this to their advantage. They can use our problems to advantage and put us in a more difficult place. So I think that's something that's important to know. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to pick 3. And I just sort of cut the cards. We have the Witness. The Holy Mountain. And the Crow. It's interesting. I have never gotten the Witness or the Holy Mountain. I have gotten the Crow before. I do not know what all these cards mean. So let me find my book Uh-oh. Oh, there it is. So organized. All right, let's see what the witness says. The witness is 64. Let's see. The witness. This might actually be... Is that the last card of the deck? It's actually the last card of the deck. Isn't that interesting? It says, the witness observes without engaging in any action. By cultivating inner stillness, we are able to assess any situation from a higher perspective and make a better decision. Yeah, so I think that that was sort of seen in that reading. When we can be present for someone else's difficulties with stillness, then we are able to truly hear them and give them better advice. Sometimes we can still do that. Sometimes we can be so still that we are a mirror for the other. Then through our presence, they receive their own answers. The witness has been at your side all along and is now ready to become your ally. You thought you were a doer, but today you discover that things happen when you get out of the way. Witness creates unfolding before you. Change reality by finding stillness and letting your true intent reveal itself. Okay. And then the Holy Mountain, number 25. Oops. Native people around the earth recognize mountains as places of great power, where one encounters spirit, or where the gods and goddesses reside. In ancient Greek, Mount Olympus was the home of the 12 main gods and goddesses. In Tibet, pilgrims circumambulate Mount Kailash to bring prosperity. In Peru, pilgrims climb the ice-capped Mount Austin Gate to receive the starlight and bring fire to the earth. The Holy Mountain invites you to go on a sacred pilgrimage to require vision and perspective. For you must accept the present situation as an opportunity to discover higher understanding. Finding a sacred altar where others who came before you have prayed and found the wisdom, and make your offering there. Make a commitment to walk with courage, love, and compassion until you see with clarity the perfection of it all. And then last is the Crow, which is 13 in this deck. So this probably has something to do with death. Crow is the keeper of universal law and the law of truth. Crow teaches us to walk our talk and find congruence between who we say we are and who we really know ourselves to be. The winged one insists that we speak truth, that we create truth instead of searching for it, and that we bring truth to every situation we find ourselves in. When you speak the truth and practice truth, eventually everything you say becomes true. Your power to co-create with truth is the universal law. Correct what is untrue in your life without judgment. Let the truth set you free. Be true to your word. Crow arise just as we have convinced ourselves that what we are doing is right and justified. And while this may be the case in the realm of relative truth, the higher realm of absolute truth, it is not. Look deeply into your own heart and remain alert, lest you convince yourself of something that isn't deeply true for you, or perhaps that is not the highest truth. Do not seduce yourself with illusions. So I think what this is saying to me is that this situation, this occurrence, is an opportunity for us to wake up to the fact that there are people in this dire of a situation. And while we have to hold them responsible for the actions that they take, it is really not for us to judge them. It is really not for us to judge them, but to understand them. And in that understanding, focus and do the things that must be done so that the situations that fostered this no longer hold sway. No longer hold sway. This isn't really about going against somebody else. This is about finding the common ground and the commonality that's going to help us to come together as a nation, as a community, as a world. And, this is happening at this time. And, things like this happen all over the world. This is not something that's just happening in the United States, certainly. And for the most part, we're pretty lucky with this stuff. I mean, the things that happen in other countries, in England even, and France, and Europe, and then, of course, the Middle East, a lot of which has been sort of, can't say we're not responsible for that stuff, right? But, and I think that, excuse me, burp. Yeah, I think it's important that we really examine this kind of thing and not fear it, but seek to understand it. Because fear will only create more reasons to be fearful. Understanding will build bridges, and bridges are necessary. Bridges are necessary. All right. Well, I hope that was helpful. Um, now maybe I'll check and see what they're saying about this thing. But yeah, I feel like this was a warning in a way that, we're going to have to deal with the dissatisfaction of folks as much as we deal with our own dissatisfaction and how things are. Come together, come to some sort of consensus and balance. And really, if people's essential needs were met, this wouldn't be an issue. The real Aquarian thing of raising all boats, this would not be an issue. This would go away because people would feel like they're being heard and being taken care of. And ultimately, that's what they want. They want to be heard, they want to be seen, they want to be taken care of. And if they feel so desperate that the only way that they can get out of their place is to blow things up, then we need to really look at that place. And a lot of that has been created by years and years of the political system not working and democracy not working. And part of that is because it's been purposely attacked. And in order for democracy to survive, it needs to be nurtured. It needs to be fed. We need to have a free press. We need to have press that we can trust. We need to have an educated populace. We need to have advantage for the disadvantaged and opportunity for everybody else. And there's so much opportunity to be had, which is the really sad part. It's just that it's not really where most of the politicians that have been politicking, except maybe for my friend Bernie. Thank you. Have been focused on. So, all right, guys, much love. I hope that's helpful. Take care.